national, what the critical mass is here. My brain is scrambled. We're finally starting, though. That's a good sign. The gamers want to play. They are making their way to mid for the first round of Sunshine here. So let's take a look at how they're going to approach these, how these mids are going to go, and more importantly, who's going to get rolled on the first mid as I'm watching. Just seeing what these demos are doing. You know, they're pretty equal in their times here, and now they're meeting up on mid and spamming a bit of a spam across point. The usual stuff. Oh, and that's what's actually going to cross under. And there's a bomb in by Nubby. Gets onto, well, not much actually. Just does a bit of damage onto Fancy. I guess gets the kill. But that's going to be it for now as they trade out Josh on the other side as well. So it's still a back and forth. A bit of damage lacking, obviously, for CSG with the demo off the board. And they have, like, no positioning at all either. Charlie's in behind. And that's about it. Everybody else is just running away. They kind of have to give up any positioning they had. And it's going to be a one mid off of tf2easy just like that.
Yeah, it was a really good initial double bomb there from Nubby and Josh. They managed to get in and onto Fancy Elf, and then not only that, but Nubby managed to sort of keep himself up and keep alive, which just made it slightly uncomfortable for CSG to come in for a recontest, and just got a little bit sticky for them, and they had to back out. Charlie's trying to create a bit of a ruckus in the back lines, but of course no potential for a back cap on second just yet. But it looks like CSG looking to just try and edge their way and try and create a bit of a nuisance. Charlie managed to pick up Gazzy. That's a couple of nice rockets there. That's certainly going to make it a little bit more difficult for tf2easy. Certainly slow the game down just a little bit more with both teams on this equal uber charge. And they are both going to feel each other out, see what they want to do, potentially run a little bit of a sack wave. It's very, very early doors in this first map here.
It's also about time Charlie actually did something with his position there. He was behind for so long, and if he had waited any longer, it could have just turned into a 5v6 for his team to, you know, try and fight on second. As there's a bit of aggression in by the tf2easy soldiers. They managed to both get deep into the combo, but do next to no damage to Connor at all. Both of them just cleaned up easily like that. And now CSG are going to have to try and counter-aggress. They're going to send in Haunts. They're going to put him a bit of other aggression as well. Nicky's in with him. Charlie's trying to make his way through Cafe, so they're slowly but surely coming in. Haunts gets onto the combo. I actually managed to force off Auto as well off the back of it. Beautifully done. And now they just have to scram, or at the very least Kite Zuber until they want to use their own. Which they're being very good. They're staying in for very long. Nicky might have to die here, and he does. So that's going to be a cleanup. But still, they got the force out of it. If they can hold on to their Uber and keep themselves safe for at least a little bit longer until the spawners come in, even if they have to give up ground for it for now, it could very well be a good situation for CSG here.
Yeah, it was a beautifully synchronized bomb there from CSG to get that force out of them, but they just lost a couple too many players. It meant that they had to give up second, but of course they have got a nice 6% Uber advantage to use in return. They're taking an awful lot of spam from the enemy Cafe, and they're gonna have to just try and chase as deep and as hard as possible. Ams is desperately trying to get a hold of someone, but it looks like it's not to be. And there's someone on the back cap. It's gonna be Nubby. He's being met by 3 players from CSG, and they managed to sway him away, but that distraction is enough to push them away from the second cap. tf2easy, a lot of cap time position in lobby, and they are not looking to hang about at all. Now a 70% Uber advantage in hand, looking to pick off Fancy. The cap time's so close, and the unflash on auto gets it over the line. That was a real turning of the tides there.
Just that quickly, just that easily. All it takes is one singular soldier on the back cap, uncontested for so long. Even managed to get a kill, you know, he managed to trade out for Haunts and just buy so much cap time. It was actually absurd how much cap time he got and how long it took CSG to get to that point. And yeah, that's an easy round for tf2easy. Pun unintended. As we're headed into our second little mid fight here already, that's a quick one, and it looks like a fast bump out of the tf2easy soldiers into the combo, and they find Connor immediately with the follow-up by Gazzy as well. Now they're gonna have to keep their own medic safe. Auto gets a lot of aggression on him, but he manages to kite everybody away for now, and they're keeping him safe. They're just picking off any aggression on him. It's only a couple of scouts and a soldier left, and actually a demo, and they know they don't have heals, so it's gonna be tough for them to really get in here. Fancy's doing a lot of damage, trying to get into this combo. Finally gets taken down himself. There goes Ams as well, and Nicky has just run away to potentially meet up with his medic, and you know, just make the most of it at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, as soon as you sort of are able to bunker around your medic after the enemy teams has died, it's pretty hard to make a salvation play there, and you can see just how late these spawns are coming in. It means that they can't even begin to spam or peek on the second point, not that you'd want to anyway, with the full Uber advantage in the hands of tf2easy. They're already one round up. They've got a 35% Uber advantage in hand now. Ams is looking to make it slightly more difficult on the sniper class as well, but it looks like he might be looking at the wrong doorway. Gun goes down instantly. tf2easy now crossing over the point. Haunts and Charlie coming with them, trying to get whatever they can. A nice rocket does pick off Gazzy, but the time's 2 on the cap. The crits coming in super late.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the brass piece, the rev up time, was that what did it?
I think that was actually, yeah, they just obviously they took their sweet time getting to the point in general, you know, Morale getting so much cap time already. But then the fact that it was a heavy with the brass beast not being able to rev up in time to even try and damage him, that's just gonna seal the deal. Nice idea, just a bit slow on the execution. And tf2easy are gonna take that as a second round very easily into our next mid fight now. CSG are gonna have to find a way to not die instantly on mid. They're gonna find Ams, I suppose. I mean, lose Ams. They're gonna find Otto, though. Charlie manages to get that bomb off, so now they just have to keep Connor safe themselves. And for now, well, Connor's just kept himself safe by running away. And he's being chased by Nubby. He's already fighting him, and Nubby has not hit a single rocket on him yet. This is incredible.
No.
The slithering eel that this guy is. Alright, he's fine and clean.
They're just keeping him as a pet. He's got nothing to do with beef, you know?
Yeah, of course. They were just delaying his spawn. That's the idea there.
Yeah, they're losing players. The player Yeehaw peeks out onto second, gets picked off by the sig trap coming from Nazboy. They've got a little bit of time in hand as that mid cap did not go over the line straight away. And a 35% Uber advantage to tf2easy as well. Means that they're going to be in a very similar position to before. They pushed off a 35% advantage last time, and they managed to make up a real significant amount of ground. So, providing that they operate with a degree of haste, they can look to replicate their success of the first 2 pushes.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something to work with. It's a crit streak on the other side as well, and considering they have an Uber, as long as they don't get caught by any form of crits here, it should be a very easy Uber for tf2easy. There it is. It comes in. They get the sentry immediately. That's all they find for now. The crits is out as well, but it's not going to be able to get anybody unless they are not caught in it. And, well, I guess they find a couple of frags of P players not in the Uber, and just like that, they actually wipe the whole damn team. It's only Gazzy left, and he's just running away. Maybe salvaging, trying to maybe be cheeky for backup, get an overextended frag here. No, P just gets cleaned up by Nikki. And there you go.
Yeah, I mean, lessons obviously not learned from the first time around. Maybe they didn't quite notice that they were on Crit Krieg the first time around, and then therefore didn't expect it the second time. But yeah, that cleanup came in. They managed to pick up 3 frags in no cap time from tf2easy. Ultimately was their demise that time around. So it's going to be a 25% Uber advantage to CSG. They're making their way through this valley now, looking to go onto whoever they can. A really lofted bomb from Charlie gets a significant amount of damage onto Nazboy, who gets cleaned up by Yeehaw. It's just going to be a bit of a melee here, but CSG, unable to get any significant position here, are going to have to cut their losses. 3 players down. They back out to second once again at tf2easy. They're on the front foot once again.
Yeah, they're gonna have to give up all positioning as well, because with 2 scouts, you can't really hold against 5 players. You're gonna have a very rough time. You can't even like spam any doors to try and slow them down or anything like that. They have to get all the way to last, even with a full Uber. That must sting, because now it's gonna be equal by the time, you know, they get everybody ready and going again. And then obviously tf2easy are gonna try to use their their equalization to maybe even push off of it. We'll have to see how aggressive they want to be with it. Naturally, they should expect this to be equal. They should expect to, just go for a sack or something like that. They have the sentry up already, but it's only level 1. And there's both soldiers in as well. They get in deep, but they don't find the medic. They just get like juggled around by a pyro, and just like that, both of them get cleaned up as well.
It was only a level 1 gun, but it seemed to have provided enough knockback just to make the soldiers not quite as effective as they would hope to be. They're coming up with their spawns now, tf2easy, but CSG are operating with a degree of sort of swish at the minute. Just more Alexi and Gazzy on the front line for tf2easy. Both teams do have Ubercharge in hand, and these low ground CSG players are pretty weak. They're just trying to nudge their way up, but Connor is taking a lot of damage here as Fancy tries to make his way forward into these tf2easy players, and it looks like they are going to be the ones to pull the trigger first. Just a solo Uber onto Gazzy, of course, not too much damage to be expelled there, and they have to run away cap in hand, try and keep as many players alive as possible. Charlie having something to say about it, gets Josh and trades in perpetuity.
Yeah, well, at the very least, he's, gotten that one. It's still a bit better for tf2easy with more players, and they're getting the positioning as well now to pressure these players back, get CSG back to the last point, have these Ubers be equal as well, so it's yet another opportunity for them to try and convert. And again, they're already up 2 rounds, even just 10 minutes in. That is not an insignificant lead. If they so desire to slow this game down a little bit to their own their own desire. They are in a driver's seat. It is totally something they can do if they wish to. As it stands, they're probably just gonna, wait for their Ubers, try and get this equal Uber situation going, try to maybe, send in a sack and get somebody onto auto there. There is no sentry to worry about. Okay, there is now. It's being built, but it wasn't, at least for a mere moment, and maybe this time they won't have both soldiers get destroyed by it. I guess it's gonna be on tf2easy to try and break this hold. It's already a solid one by CSG there. They're setting it up decently fast. They're taking their sweet time. You move the sentry. There's Josh in. There's Nubby in as well on the other side, and they find absolutely nothing. They both get killed by Hans with the same rocket.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth on this game, but CSG have never been in a position where they could actually sort of look to close out a round, because just every mid-fight gone the way of tf2easy. But this could be a turning of the tides. 4 players isolated in this corner. Horns penning them in, manages to pick them up. They force the Uber out pretty quickly there, but Ams gets 2-shot, dropped by Connor on the beam. That was really impressive. A clutch shot that needed to be pulled out by Moralexi. Does keep a couple of his players alive there as well, and they're just going to wait for their soldier spawners. They're so desperate to get them in. Jolly has a little bit of something to say about it, but ultimately backing away with auto is going to be the golden ticket for tf2easy there on their own side of mid, giving up a little bit of space to CSG as there's still a man down in Nubby. Oh, and Josh getting picked off as well is going to be a write-off, and CSG capitalizing on this mid, looking to go the distance.
Yeah, I mean, they have that Uber ad as well still. They're still 60% up as we speak. It's gonna be 50 by the time they get into second, but still that's so much to work with. And tf2easy kind of just like have to give it up. I mean, they don't even have 2 soldiers to try and go for like a force or a sack play or something like that. They just have to keep backing out, because if they mess this up, they would have even less players on last, and that would make it even harder. So they're just gonna cut their losses, get to last here, get their Uber going, and see if they can turn this into an equal situation where they have the holding advantage. They have Gazi on his main already as well. The Ubers are now equalized as Hans jumps in and gets juggled by a scout, but it's a valiant effort at the very least, and it looks like that's going to slow it down a little bit. CSG are going to have to wait outside now, wait for their spawners, and man, tf2easy are immediately taking the counter aggression. They're taking ground in lobby, they're putting stickies on the shutter, they're seeing if Nubby can maybe even try and squeeze his way through there perhaps, or just clear some space. They're finally going to back off as they realize the spawners have come in, but still, very, very aggressive there. They have the stickies on shutter. They're making CSG work for even just taking lobby here, and there you go. Just like that, Nikki gets picked off by the sticky trap.
I think that was that a blind dead
It was
well,
a jump dead, actually. Yeah, I think he jumped and that's what, killed Nikki, but it worked out.
Yeah, it looks like they just wanted to buy enough time to get their level 3 set up on last. We all know that preparation is ultimately what is going to help you stay calm and maintain this last and not give it up to CSG. It's an equal Uber situation again, so we're going to have to see what CSG want to try and do to erode away this tf2easy defense. They've not pulled up any off classes or anything of the sort. It looks like they're just trying to make a little bit of space and Lobby feel them out, get some spam going, see what it is set up on the defensive side. It looks like the horn spawn from lower is going to be the answer to that. Unfortunately, he gets picked up by the gun. Pretty sharpish there with a sticky from Nazboy in assistance as well. And then the counter snipe coming from Moralexi, trying to make something happen as they have a player advantage.
I mean, just as that man on sniper is dangerous to begin with, so giving him any ground, any quarter on defense is dangerous as well. He's going to go back to just spy check, I guess. He's going to check if there's any off classes going on. For CSG, who have not opted to do that, they're still cookie cut. They're still trying to get through this last push somehow, but it's looking like a very fortified bunker here for tf2easy. They might very well, as I hinted at earlier, become completely comfortable with running out the round timer, going for the reset, and just, taking it to another mid-fight. They're up 2 rounds. It's not like they got much to lose at this point. Even if they just hold for a little bit longer, Sunshine tends to be a bit easier to hold than other maps, so it's very much possible, and it's going to be on CSG to try and bust their way in here. They're really trying to, maybe spam down the gun, but it's just being tanked by Gazi. He's healing that thing like it's nothing, and they only have 1 soldier. They get the dispenser. That's a very crucial pick, but
oh god,
is it going to be enough? I don't know, man. Need to look more. Hans is going to jump in on the other side, but just gets onto Josh, gets denied by the sentry as well, and that's just going to shut it down again. CSG are going to have to give up their ground if they in any way respect Nubby, and they don't, so there goes Nikki as well. Now they definitely have to get out to second, and there they are on the back foot already. Morel trying to get that cheeky little snipe off on someone as well. Doesn't quite hit the shot, but it's good enough to assert some dominance for now.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just see just the switch, these TF2Easy players, though that gun is in a very compromised position, they are just absolutely shit hot on protecting all of the doorways and stopping anyone from trying to spam out. You know, they're coordinating from 2 different doorways with 3 different players there. Josh, Nubby, and Nazboy just all over it, and Gazzy's gun managing to stay up in that super aggressive position that's just completely destroying all of the CSG sacks. So CSG have to have a little bit of a rethink here. It looks like they're persistent with this right hand side, trying to spam this gun out, but that spam really persistent from tf2easy once again.
It's just they're just nuking down any doorway that people try to approach the gun from, and because it's so deep, so central, you have to peek so deep as well to try and get an angle on it, right? It's not like you can just get a cheeky little one-way peek or anything like that. You have to go so deep, which puts you in so much harm's way.
Oh no! They get the gun, but at what cost? 12
both
seconds
soldiers.
spawns from their soldiers. All they've done is they've handed Gazzy about 12 crits, and then he's got enough time to rebuild his gun. 60 seconds left on the round time. We could be seeing a mid-reset here. I can't imagine tf2easy are going to be too keen, but we're going to see a bit of a rush from CSG here. They know that they can't let their hands be forced, and last run down again. They don't get the force out of tf2easy, so this is sticky.
This is a very sticky situation, but if you're tf2easy here, you might actually be better off not even pushing out, because you literally get 2 points for the price of 1, right? If you push out now, you get the round timer back to 5 minutes. You're gonna have to push into mid as well. If you just wait another 30 seconds, you can go to mid straight away without having to, you know, do the extra work for it. And that looks like what they're doing. They're just contented hitting on last hit. Charlie's gonna try to just send it onto the point, gets a little bit of cap time, but also gets nuked down by the crits there, and the Uber comes out of auto just to like really try and seal the deal, put a cap on this last point here. Nobody's getting in by CSG. They're just gonna have to contend with that they held the second for effectively 5 minutes, and Fancy just gets destroyed by Navi. Oh my lord.
It means nothing, but oh my god, you could just see that lining up. There was no strafing out of the way of that one. Fancy even admitting it himself. That was pretty formidable, and the first round reset of this Prem season. And what an exciting way to end what would be regarded as quite a dull stalemate. Again, rolling into now our 4th mid, 2 rounds in, and it is going to be a very similar one to before. Horns again going in super deep, super early, just trying to create a little bit of a distraction, try and stop the tf2easy players from getting any position. Nubby going down, and Josh really weak as well, unable to pick off Fancy up between the two of them, and it is going to be a roller from CSG,
Charlie,
a real shift in the matrix.
Charlie in so deep as well, gets on through choke, gets onto Nazboy. There's Fancy as well, just on the flank all of a sudden, gets auto, and Gazzy gets cleaned up as well. It's only morale left. Nubby now spawning. A beautiful, just deep chaser by CSG. They pay their lives as well, but they're certainly gonna ensure themselves a big ad here with auto dying so late, thinking that he was basically in the clear, and suddenly 3 more people show up just to secure that medic kill. It's going to be a very good chance for CSG here, and it's on them to lose it, and Nubby has decided to snipe. Very aggressive sniper play here. If Connor, oh, dangerous sideline to peek, but he does not get popped for now, and now that the sniper surprise factor is out of the way, he's going to be walking back to spawn and trying to become, yep, back to the soldier class. Just go back to what works. Gazzy's going to be sniping instead, and I mean, if they're going to be able to catch something with it, so good on them. But CSG are going to know that there's a sniper, or at least expect that they're going to pop in early. The sentry is only on the side. It's very deep on the left side. They finally take it down. They find nothing else so far. They're going to find Nubby eventually. They find Josh as well, but now they have to deal with the heavy and a lot of healing coming to this point. The pyro as well, air blasting everybody off. They find the pyro, but they lose another person as well. They find more Alexi as well. Okay, they're actually going to be able to get this point here because Nazboy can't quite close it out by himself. All right, they're in this.
Yeah, I mean, that was really solid from CSG. Of course, the momentum was in their hand. They had a real solid mid fight. Horns came into the last and picked up both of the tf2easy soldiers pretty swish and early. Yeah, that was all they really needed. They pushed over with the Uber charge and managed to get that cap over the line. So we are now going into our 5th mid of the game, and it's again just a bit of a sniper battle between these 2 demo men, neither of them coming on top seemingly, but Condog taking an awful lot of damage at the start, and it looks like Nubby wants something to do with it. Gazzy managing to pick up the wreck. Ultimately, Am's trying to run out, and they are all bodying it for Auto, desperately trying to get on top of him, but he retains his life for now, managing to stand behind his scouts and keep alive, and a real dominating sort of return there from tf2easy after losing that first round.
Yeah, I mean, now Hans is the only player alive. He's just basically fighting for his life, just trying to keep people at bay, trying to get out with his life, and just make the most of it. Yeah, they're already on second as well, capping off here. tf2easy are looking to roll this forward like a boulder down the hill, just as quickly as you possibly can, because my lord, that's a big ad to work with. Ams is on a sniper again. If he can catch somebody here, good on him. But tf2easy, they're so solid, they're probably aware of it. They might not even push the top side, even though it is the premier location to do it. And no, that's what they're going for. They're ready. They're going to pop in early as well. They find a sentry that's level 2, and they're going to take it down instantly. Now it's going to be on how well CSG can kite this Uber and work around it. And they're going to find a kill onto Josh with Ams on the heavy, but there's nobody on the point. There's nobody pressuring the point. Okay, finally, they're clearing the players up, and they have the crits coming out as well to just get the last little bits there. It's only Otto left alive. He's running away, but he's still being able to be caught here potentially. No, nobody chases. He's gonna meet up with Josh on mid, and he's gonna live for the time being.
Have I got a bit of deja vu on that last? I feel we may have seen that at another point in this game. The Brass Beast Heavy, the follow-up from the demo stickies, managing to pluck off those players. You know, those TF2Easy players were swayed away from capping that point with just 4 stickies alone. There were no bombs, there was no external pressures other than that. As soon as that Uber faded, they were all over it, unable to lock the spawn doors, and CSG put in a real solid return. Get that second cap in hand. Uber's now equalised once again. They are back on the Medigun, and mid very much in the hands of TF2Easy.
It's gonna be an interesting one for CSG. They're gonna find themselves. I think this is the first time we see this like mid to second stalemate from the CSG side, trying to push out and trying to get into mid, and they still have 8 minutes to pick up at least around here, to try and take it to a golden cap, or at least get themselves a couple at least up point, coming home from Sunshine. So they have some time to work with. 8 minutes is not an amazing amount of time, but it is certainly enough to pick up around if they so desire. And obviously tf2easy are going to try to not have that let that be happening to them. They're going to be very aggressive in flowers here, actually, causing a lot of spam. They're going to send in a Nubby bomb deep, as Josh is already in earlier, and neither of them can really get what they want. They find Hans on the other side as he sacks in, but that's going to be all they fight for now. Nasboy's going to lock down Choke at least for a little bit, but he's going to be so caught. He's actually so aggressive here. He's going to really have to get tanked by Otto as well, who's got nobody else to heal as Gazzy gets floated on mid and taken down. So they're going to have to make a run for it, get out a second here. That was a very solid push into mid just for free by CSG. And they're going to go in deep even more. There's Charlie. He gets the force onto Otto. Oh my lord. Okay. They're doing something here. I like it. They seemed in control.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time to get into it, 22 minutes into a game, but there's only one round in it even still. So CSG, 70% Uber advantage in hand. They're making their players move towards the cafe area. They've got a return there from Josh and Nubby, who have taken a fair bit of damage in return, but Charlie unfortunately missed time with this combo. Does get picked off the Uber charge coming out now, 40% away. They're chasing the medic really hard and deep here. It looks like he's their only real objective here as they leave one player on the cap. Ooh. Oh, the Demo Knight. Nasboy gets one slash of the blade onto Ams. He's standing on that last one. He's not got enough health to put it away, and he falls victim to his own confidence, unfortunately there. Josh and Gazzy on the second point, looking to block up Ams, and a nice up direct there from Josh. It's just going to be Yeehaw. Nicky left in, trying to pick him off as well, but these rockets are really devastating from Josh and buy them just enough time to get some spawners up and try and push out these CSG players.
Yeah, like just because everybody else died on second, right? They couldn't close out that second cap. If they had done that, that would have been an easy round for CSG, but they couldn't close out that second cap because TF2 just kept fighting there. They realized, wait, this is our objective. Sure, Otto's getting chased to all hell right now, and he's gonna die, but at the very least, we can keep the objective alive. And then dealing with 2 low scouts afterwards, low health scouts, ain't gonna be that much of a trouble. And just like that, they managed to hang on to their second and effectively salvage what was a quite nasty situation. And CSG just not being able to quite get what they wanted out of that. They're gonna have to try again now. Even with a slight disset, they're gonna have to wait ever so slightly longer, which is obviously just time taken away that they could have worked with. It's the time bank slowly but surely fading away, and now they're making their way into Valley, trying to be a bit more aggressive. The other side this time, as they tried Cafe before, and they're just eating a lot of damage. They're not really doing much off the back of it so far. There's Charlie trying to go for a bit of a high bomb, but just realizes there's nothing to land on, gets out again. Hans in the meantime sends himself deep, but gets cleaned up Doesn't even get that much damage onto auto either, so nothing to follow up on. And it's just going to be a bit of a reset here, as tf2easy aren't even looking to counter-sack.
No, they don't seem too keen on it at all. Again, we got 2.5 minutes left on this individual round timer. Just a bit of spam going back and forth. Both teams do have an uber charge of their own, and just look like they're sort of just getting into a bit of a war of attrition, just throwing their soldiers in individually, running some double sacks, getting some fakes going, and just trying to sort of unstuck this stalemate that's going on right now. Of course, to very little avail thus far, but as soon as these spawners are up, you can see yet another sack is going to be run very, very shortly.
Hey, they want to get in here. They have to make something happen because they are down the round. So CSG desperately trying to make something happen here, trying to get into the second point, trying to get this round going. Charlie's going high onto the wall again, not quite bombing in just yet, maybe just making some room, making a little bit of a distraction, but they're shutting down Hans on the other side. The flank can't really get any ground either. So they're gonna just have to find a different approach to this. They're gonna just have to get damage onto something, have to get a distraction onto something. Not really much off-casting coming out of CSG either, which would be something you could try to, break a stalemate like this with, but none of them really opting for it. Now Am's slowly deciding to walk in a little bit, take some ground, realizing, hey, they're giving us a bit of it, so why don't we take it? Never mind, we should back out because Connor just got dropped by Nubby. Just an easy slip through by that guy. Slippery as ever. Just realizes, yeah, there's nobody protecting the medic now. Ams is too far forward, and there you go. That's Connor getting punished for his hubris.
Yeah, Fancy Elf gets picked up as well. Ams is behind, gets picked up pretty promptly by Gazzy there, winning the 1v1. And they are romping towards mid. They are 3 players down. All of the return players from CSG are so weak as they back up towards their own second. They are only going to be able to deny 1 player, but they have got an 80% uber charge in hand. And they are going to look to use it pretty imminently. Their players meandering towards the valley area. Josh coming in through choke. Horns comes in with the bomb. Does get the force out nice and early there. So that means it's not going to be a threat for last. And it buys CSG a little bit more time as they sit still in this lobby, looking to get their last defenses now set up.
And they're gonna have to. I mean, it's not just that you're on last now. You can't even go for a round reset. There's only 3 minutes left in the map. You have to push out. You have, like, if you want to take this round, and if you want to, somehow still take this to a golden cap or something like that, you have to make a move for it. You have to Uber at, you have to get out here, you have to make sure that you don't leave anybody behind, and make the most of it as they send in their Uber and find absolutely nobody. Just tf2easy, well aware of the threat coming their way, very far back, kiting that stuff out immediately, and now they're going to have a big Uber ad to work with. And they're going to be taking that in immediately. Even though they lose second, they will not hesitate to just immediately keep this pressure up, keep this pressure going. They might not even have to use it if they can get in a bit deeper, and CSG respect it just a bit too much as well. They're giving up ground so quickly, they're losing players so quickly as well. There goes Charlie, traded out for Nubby at the very least, but is it going to be enough? There goes Nicky, picks up Gazzy. And they actually managed to find a couple of frags. They find a bit of ground. Hans goes in, does some damage as well. And that's when it gets sent into the skybox. And yeah, they're gonna have to use if they don't want to lose any more players here. So now it's gonna be Morale just chasing, trying to get onto Connor here. He does get the kill, very crucial, because if he hadn't, this could have turned around for CSG yet again. He does get killed by Ams in the end. But, okay, they found Auto. Okay, maybe it's still possible for CSG, actually. Maybe there's still a chance here. They just gotta find this Nazboy who has found his way into the enemy lines. And, now they just have to deal with a hiding Nubby who, yeah, he's decided he's not going to bother. So, finally, CSG stabilized on second. At least a little bit. And they're going to have a bit of an ad, maybe like 20-ish% to work with as well. So, it's going to be an uphill battle, but it's certainly still possible with 90 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, with that in mind, I mean, it's the objective of tf2easy just to try and slow the pace of the game down and try and make it so that they are not pushed back to their own last. But CSG have got to look at it as the complete opposite of that. They need to try and force a mistake out of tf2easy, get some momentum in hand, and get the ball rolling. You know, they've got this 40% Uber advantage. They've managed to push tf2easy out of that mid, so they've got 2 points left to go. 45% Uber advantage in hand. Horns coming in super lofted, managing to deny a lot of space initially there.
Ooh.
The crit streak has been popped. No frags coming out initially, and also 30% away with his Uber charge on his own. They are on the last. They need to hold on to that for just 50 seconds to win this map. It is definitely coming down to the wire with the threat of a golden cap.
And this is going to be on CSG just pulling up an absolute miracle. They have to not only be able to deal with that Uber that they're opposing completely dry, because not only do they not have a crits, they have nothing to oppose it, and they're already losing 4 players just trying to go in dry. Fancy's also so low down below. He's still alive for now, gets the pack as Connor gets chased through mid and just gets duked on by Nubby. Fancy's the only one left alive, gets cleaned up as well. Hans might make a little bit of a play here, but with 20 seconds left and second
Gotta
about
play
to be
for
capped.
logs.
That's just for logs now, yeah. You're just literally playing for the numbers at this point. It is over and done for, and tf2easy are going to win Sunshine.
I mean, I must admit, that is a much tighter scoreline than I thought it was going to be, particularly with how dominant TF2Easy were at the start of that map. You know, it was always in the CSG half. They won the first 3 mids, and they were just put in a really solid position. And then you saw it a couple times as well, where TF2Easy would be in a seemingly losing position, but then Josh would just activate his dick-seeking rockets and just make it as difficult as possible for the CSG players to do anything they wanted.
That's a great line. That's a wonderful phrase. I love that one. Anyway, thick seeking rocket, huh? Yeah, I mean, that was what it boiled down to, really. Yeah, they managed to still eke out the fights at the end of the day, right? Even if they found themselves on the back foot a little bit for that second half of the map. And I mean, if we're looking at logs, let me just have a quick view over this.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Just at a
certain
glance.
things that are quite apparent there. Like, if you just look at the scouts of TF2Easy,
Yeah,
22 to 10, 19 to 10. Both of
yeah.
them sitting super low. They were playing really tight around the combo in those crisis situations. The cleanup was pretty stellar whenever sort of Nazboy, Josh, and Nubby managed to just sort of rain down rockets and sticks upon the enemy team. And they were just having a bit of a field day. And you can see, by comparison, just how, I suppose, sad the Haunts and Charlie stats are, just because in those sort of stalemate situations, they just had to keep throwing their bodies at the wall. And of course, when you've got those players surrounding Auto, you're not going to have many successful stats.
Yeah, they I mean, a lot of that time, there was, like, that, like, 8-ish minutes that they spent trying to push last with the round reset, where they just kept sending in the soldiers, seeing if something would happen, or trying to spam the sentry, and, well, it never worked, right? So, you're just, like, kinda sitting around doing nothing, and that shows in, like, just the damage and the amount of kills gotten overall. There was a slow segment, but during the slow segment, CSG wasn't really doing anything. They were kinda just sitting around, trying to throw whatever works at a wall, but they just kept throwing the same thing and not learning. It's like trying to fit the square peg in the round hole every single time. It won't work.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the meds as well, there was a 1 death difference between the two of them. Auto got 12 Uber charges. Condog got 6 Uber charges and 4 crits, and you could see the crits were always sort of like a backup and they were a last resort. And although they did sort of really provide some really dominant outs, I think those would have been the case anyway, given the situation that TF2Easy put themselves in.
Yeah, like the crits were kind of just there to seal the fight out more convincingly. But I think if they, even if they didn't have them, they would have probably still a good shot at winning those fights because of just the position TF2Easy were in, having killed absolutely nobody with the Uber, being not able to play the points, stuff like that. Yeah, that was gonna seal the doom for them either way. Either way, we are going to Gullywash. Everybody's favorite map. People love this map, I think. But everybody's saying this. Many people are saying this, that they love Gullywash. I guess
I,
that's what we're going to be looking at
yeah,
next.
I think it's really going to lend itself to the explosive players or the explosive classy players we're seeing in this game. Um, I know on a good day, Horns and Charlie can really tear this map up. But when you've got the experience and the coordination and the support that you see out of TF2Easy, you saw it a lot of that game. Like even just when they do something so simple as run a sniper, or if they've got a sentry gun in a certain spot, although as fundamental as it may seem, they are always at the helm, always ready to protect, always ready to sort of throw themselves in the way to protect their off-classer and make as much space as possible. And they just optimize every single part of the game to the extent where they could make it definitely very difficult for CSG if they aren't able to sort of catch these players out.
It's gonna be on the playmakers for either team, really, because CSG, they seem to definitely be lacking a little bit of that cohesion. I mean, that comes from being a newly mixed together team and stuff. Even if you have individual experience, at the end of the day, it's gonna take at least a bit of playing together, a few more than just a couple of weeks, perhaps, to really get everybody on the same page and get everybody playing together really, really well, understanding what you need and like how you're going to coordinate stuff. And that coordination difference, I feel, is what's been making it for TF2 easy so far. because they know what their playstyles can be like. They've been playing with each other for so long. They know exactly what they're going to be doing, what strats they might have even been workshopping and stuff like that. And if you CSG, you kind of probably don't have that yet, right? You might be as keen as you can be, but you've only had a few weeks to really prepare for this, right? It's going to make it a little bit tougher to try and compete with that. So it's going to be on individual playmakers, I think, to really just pop off. Like AMS just runs in and suddenly gets a 4K or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we really can't sell CSG short here, though, because you did see there were a lot
Hmm.
of instances where their hand was forced and their soldier bombs were actually quite good. It just happened to be that they were jumping into two of the best scouts in the game that were
Yeah.
expecting the sacks. You know, the last sack, whenever it was unanticipated, the mid bombs were good. The last bombs worked sometimes. When they made space through Valley, then the soldier came in through choke with the fake. That always worked out quite well. And again, you've seen AMS in the backline just trying to slow down any aggression from tf2easy quite consistently there, just trying to slow down the pace and try and make it so instead of tf2easy managing to get 2 points, they just get one, and just trying to get in control of the game as best they can.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know how they're gonna try to approach this. It was a closer match than it had a right to being if you're looking at it from like a pure stats standpoint, right? Surely that should have been a more dominant win for TF2 Easy. So maybe they're taking it easy. Maybe they're not going as hard yet because the start of the season, whatever. It's not a big of a deal. First official of the season. You got like 2 more months of this anyway, but maybe it is a sign that CSG are just on the cusp of figuring it out, right? They're on the cusp of getting exactly the right groove going, and maybe now that they're a bit warmed up or something like that, they could find themselves suddenly turning this map around. Again, we don't know who picked which map either. Unfortunately, they didn't disclose that information on the match page. Unfortunately, we can only make educated guesses and just assume that if this was CSG's pick, then maybe they're going to be looking really good on it.
Quite possibly. I mean, if I think if going back to that last map, if you were to do a heat map of sort of player position over the course of it,
Hmm.
you could say with a degree of confidence that the vast majority of that, at least the first half of the map, was spent on CSG's second and last. And
Yeah.
then just creating those opportunities and having so many goes at pushing that last cap is ultimately what's going to win you the rounds. But we are now kicking off. This is map 2, season 43 Prem. Week 1, it is tf2easy in the blue versus Comedy Shorts Gaming. It's going to be a pretty fast mid from CSG. They send 2 soldiers straight up to try and pick off Nazboy. They do manage to pick him off. Ultimately, Horns does pay his life. Charlie's super weak here as well. And it looks like they've put tf2easy in an awkward enough position that they're just sort of scrabbling around, trying to do whatever they can. But CSG ultimately not elected to come in at all. They had no confidence off the back of that first sack. And back out to second and potentially even further into this upper area.
Yeah, they kind of just like gave up on the mid fight halfway through, it seems. They were just like, yeah, we got a pick. We got a decent pick. Even like the demo man that early can certainly turn things around for you, but they just didn't follow up with any sort of positioning, lost a couple of players, but just, the scrambling TF2 Easy team, just managing to focus down whatever happened to be caught out in front of them, and that's a rough way to lose a mid fight, but at the very least you kind of like kept it equal, right? You kept most of your team alive. You have a decent opportunity to set up on last year. You have equal Ubers, so it's certainly not a foregone conclusion as Nubby comes in, just gets air blasted down, immediately denied. Josh gets nuked down, but he does get what?
God! Josh came in, he dropped off of that launch pad area and got a direct onto him, and yeah, that was curtains.
God.
2 well placed rockets, however separate they may have been. Yeah, did not manage to cling onto that Gondog. Probably should have used as he saw that Josh barreling towards him. So full Uber advantage now in the hands of tf2easy. Of course, it is their job now to push into the CSG last. They've got a gun set up by these shutters. They're holding a very passive position here as well, with the pyro in hand as well, and just waiting to see what the tf2easy's move is going to be. They're not getting much information yet, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're being very passive on CSG as well. They finally found the gun. They managed to take it down without even having to Uber, so TF2 is just going so deep. They haven't even Ubered yet, and they've already got so much cap time. They're finally going to use it to just clean up whatever they can here. CSG making their way forward a little bit, at least, to get to the point. AMS finds a kill onto Josh, still stays alive as well, but the heavy up there isn't going to do much for you when he's got a dead angle on the point, and you can just walk onto it after you cleaned up everybody else who was hiding in water. And there's the first round for TF2 Easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really sticky one there. As soon as your players are all backed into spawn and your only real point protection is just the players that are sticking about underneath it, and then that they're met with their entire Uber charge, it's not ideal. So seeing a very similar mid to last time around, Josh coming in really quick with the bombs, as does Nubby. They managed to pick off Charlie, get a good bit of position on this right-hand side, but no real high ground from tf2easy just yet. A double bomb comes in from Horns, manages to get someone,
Ooh,
and
Ams.
Ams runs
Nicely.
in, gets auto, so it looks like they just need to try and bunker around Condog, stop anyone from getting onto him. They got 3 players, but they're pretty distant at the minute, so to take the sort of mid loss in exchange for your heals is certainly not a bad trade.
It's a rough position to be in a CSG here as well, because they're in the enemy big door, so they know that they're on a timer. They have to move because spawners are gonna be coming from behind them. Now they're pincered.
No.
Okay, well, Ams is gonna get a kill onto Nazboy. They might just run this forward with a chariot. Connor, full confidence into Ams, and Ams is certainly showing it off right now. Unfortunately, they're gonna have to use, though, to try and get out unscathed, and well, I guess it's going to equalize the Ubers at the end of the day, but somehow they're keeping that all alive throughout all of that, and they're going to be able to retake the mid off the back of it.
That was unbelievably clutch. He managed to pick up 3 players and get themselves the mid off the back of what was a dead to right to loss for CSG there. So that was real solid from them. tf2easy now on their own second, trying to build the supercharge up. They're 20% ahead of Condog's Uber charge here, and they're just looking to just chill out, just build that Uber charge up and just get some nice sights on what CSG might be doing here.
Yeah, I mean, CSG are taking it slow as well. They know they're going to have a bit of a disadvantage. They might even be anticipating more than they end up having right now because they're so close. So yeah, they're going to be starting to take ground now, realizing, okay, it's going to be equal. They're not pushing in yet. We can be a bit more aggressive, maybe try to spam a little bit and actually try to get into the second. But yeah, it's going to be on them to try and bust it. I mean, it looks like they're going to be a bit aggressive in Victor here. Lots of heals there, the entire combo there. They're going to clear the stickies as well. So slowly but surely making their way forward here, but is it going to be anything to work with? Because, you know, tf2easy is sitting up on that high ground there. It's a great position to hold from when there's a big door push, because you're going to be able to just drop down on them. And it looks like CSG have realized, wait a minute, yeah, they're not really like contesting us. Let's just go choke. Choke is clear. And they're going to send in Charlie, who gets cleaned up, and then Fancy's kind of caught in as well. A bit overextended. Expected his team to be with him more than it actually ended up being, as Ams got picked off as well. So they're going to have to just back out now and give up the midpoint.
Yeah, I mean, an Uber there would have been absolutely disastrous. Those players were so weak. The high ground was all very much in the hands of tf2easy, but unfortunately they don't get any forward spawners here. They're just going to have to look to get an early bit of damage on the players and choke, and a nice rock onto Josh and some damage onto More Alexi does mean that they are a man up now. Equal Uber situations definitely going full steam ahead, and Auto manages to drop Ams and Horns at the same time. Means that it is curtains for him. They're desperately trying to get onto Connor, with Josh jumping up from drop down, but it's not going to be enough. They are on that mid cap now. They're able to deny a lot of spawners if they really want to here, and CSG are definitely in the driver's seat.
Oh my god, everyone got forward spawns, but it's being camped already. There's stickies on the door. Yeah, everybody's just gonna have to back spawn. They cannot get out of there. CSG still just hoping somebody might cluelessly walk through that door, but they're just gonna be able to take second now and keep this rolling forward. That's a nice, sizable Uber ad as well. You got the Gazi Fire just walking out into lobby, basically a sack play. And they're gonna find Charlie, actually. And they can't get him, finally. They got him, but they lost Fancy and Charlie in an Uber somehow as well. How does that even work? This guy is actually the best pyro player in the world. It's unbelievable. He should not have gotten away with that. Hans is still in water, but he's gonna get cleaned up as well. Trying to go for a little bit of a cheeky backhand play, perhaps, but yeah. My lord. It's unbelievable. Just a pyro alone, basically W mouse wanting, completely destroying an entire Uber charge. Just now Charlie finds himself onto the enemy medic, and he does get the kill to Morale, who's trying to protect him. So there you go. Otto gets cleaned up as well. Charlie salvaging whatever he can for CSG here, actually keeping his team in the game very nicely, buying them another chance at trying to push last, and perhaps one that's going to be even better than the last one.
Yeah, that was perfectly timed from Charlie. Isolated the medic as soon as the scout drops down. It could not have been any better, and it's put his team in a real solid position here. Full Uber advantage straight out of the shutters here. Just looking to pick up whatever frags they can. There's just a scattering of stickies on point, and Nazboy and Water here. They need to try and get some frags here. Hams gets picked off. The Uber is gone. There's no significant damage to anyone here. They only managed to get Nubby and losing Condog. That is not ideal considering the setup. They had all the time in the world. They had such a significant Uber advantage there, and just nothing came of it.
Yeah, it's kind of an unfortunate push to lose as well because, yeah, as I said, they had everything to work with, and then they kind of just threw it away into the wind and let the sails take them, but they didn't take them anywhere. Now they're trying to just maybe try and get back into second here, trying to deny the point. I guess they're gonna do a little bit of that. Get Gazzy out the point,
Ooh.
get Charlie in deep
Oh,
again. He sinks
wow.
onto Auto, beautifully done. Gets that kill off the board here. Now they just got to keep Connor alive, and well, he's doing an okay job of that right now, just by virtue of being away from the enemy team as his team throws themselves away. But they still managed to hang on to second here, and they actually got a lot of back cap as well. I didn't even realize there was a back cap going on. That's probably what pulled back these remaining TF2 easy players.
There was a string of real good individual play from both sides there, but CSG ultimately having more of the few, and they're in a pretty stellar position once more, 30%, 5% Uber advantage. They need to use this time productively. They need to be sighting things out. They need to be seeing what they actually want to do to take this TF2 easy defense down. They failed to eliminate Nazboy in water last time around. They failed to get any damage, and they are using him straight away. Again, a completely uneducated push. They managed to get the gun, push these players into the spawn. There are stickies up this time around though, and it looks like it's just going to be a bit of a DM fest. So many players piling onto the point from both sides. Fancy Elf and Horns picking up a lot of frags between the two of them. Neva comes out eventually. They cannot touch that point. Round to CSG. It's a 1-1 with 9 minutes in.
All right, it's looking like we got a bit of a match on our hands now. It's again, these teams are evenly matched. They were close on the last map as well, and this is certainly looking a little bit better for CSG right off the bat. They're not finding themselves on their side of the map for 80% of the match so far. They are actually putting on a bit of a fight. Let's see how this next mid's gonna go. If it's gonna be another weird unorthodox one, or if they're just gonna all die immediately as Nicky's the first to fall, and Connor just gets... Oh my god, Nubby. What a cheeky little bomb there, just at the tail end of it. That alone is gonna close it out, yeah. Everybody else is already gone by CSG. They're just on lost. They're content with trying to do this and not losing this round immediately.
Yeah, there were many very early calling cards of a CSG mid fail there, but I won't divulge. But a 60% advantage now to TF2 easy. They're looking to put an instant return up after momentum was very much in the hands of CSG there. Looks like they got Yeehaw on the snipe, just trying to get a bit of a cheeky play, but spotted out well early. The Ubercharge now coming in through shutters, looking to replicate the success of CSG. That left-hand spawn door completely shut off. The heavy has been pulled up. No real frags going either way thus far. That heavy with the brass beat is particularly devastating, and it is going to have to be a back out again. Auto and Nazboy, the only survivors, and left completely isolated. Charlie's got a pretty easy field day.
Charlie just has Otto's number right now. He's the single most, like, world's biggest Auto hater. He just keeps on killing him at every opportunity. Whenever Auto is anywhere in a position to die, Charlie will make sure to be there to be the one to deliver the final blow. It's been working well so far. Like, Otto's been dead so much. Connor's been having so many ads, and, well, you know, they've still been kind of squandering them, but they're going to use the crits into choke here, and they're going to catch out 2 already. There's a third one on Josh as well, and a pause.
That's horrific, Ivy. I can't believe it. What a time for a pause. But yeah, picking up 3 frags while there's still, there's still 20% left in this Crits Creek. There are a couple players within the catchment area. Whether a sticky will make its way over to there, I'm not too sure. But it's nice to build a little bit of suspense up in these pause times.
Yeah, I mean, the funniest part is, this pause is 90 seconds in the future. So we don't actually know what the reason for the pause is. Maybe a player crashed. It's probably out of the sight of TF2easy. What I can imagine is that CSG picked up the round here and TF2easy did attack pause. And we're like, hold on, guys. Why the hell are we losing? We rolled these guys on the last map. Who knows? As it stands right now, this crits is looking beautiful already. That's a 3K. They still have a bit of it left. And everybody's close and choked there. So, even though this isn't what the pause is about, we might see some more nasty crit kills coming out the cannon here as soon as this pause stops.
Yeah, of course.
And that would be
Yeah, I mean, those 3 frags have happened like almost immediately in the game, yeah. But there's 2 spawners that need to come up from CSG if they actually want the momentum going. I don't know how long is left of their timers, obviously, because the spec HUD's slightly shagged by the pause. But there is definitely sort of the gates have opened a little bit for CSG to get a bit of momentum going. They can potentially try and roll their soldiers out through the big door, try and catch these players out before they can get into the upper from tf2easy, or they might just want to just try and chase like dogs and get away with whatever they could possibly get away with and pick off auto ultimately.
I mean, that's gonna be your play here, right? You use your crits. The idea is always gonna be to try and get the enemy medic as soon as possible, because if you don't, then you are gonna have a rough time going up against that full Uber potentially. Even if you have a crits, you know, as soon as that medic right clicks, your crits is doing nothing. So if auto stays alive here, this could very well be a good hold for tf2easy still on last. I guess it's gonna be on that. There's the unpause as
Definitely
I
a
guess
crash then.
yeah, letting somebody rejoin potentially. So I'm sure we'll continue momentarily as soon as the person fully rejoins. But yeah, this is. I mean, they're obviously hightailing out of it. You can see this. Like with just that 1 second, TF2s are already hightailing out. Fancy's just going in deep. He gets juggled in as well. Gets juggled up into the high ground. That's why he gets picked up by Ams in the meantime. So it's gonna be Otto and Gazzy left alive, and they're just running for their lives onto last. As CSG are gonna cap off mid and then cap off second afterwards as well.
Yeah, looked like Ghazi managed to provide enough of an anti-air deterrent to get Condog out there, so that's pretty good from them. Oh, sorry, Auto. They are now on the last. TF2easy trying to get their defense up as quickly as they possibly can. CSG just have a very tiny amount of their Uber charge left to build. Again, I can imagine they're going to be pretty brazen with this Uber. It worked once, but it's also failed a few times. They really need to be trying to ascertain what TF2easy have actually got set up for them here if they want any dreams of success. But Ubers now have equalized, and we're going to see a bit of a slog, a bit of an attempt from both teams to see what they can figure out about each other.
I mean, it is equal, but it's also not, because it's a crits out of CSG, right? And they're going to lose Nikki and Ams, actually, as well, as they're just trying to maybe be a bit cheeky, go for a little bit of a point pressure there to, you know, maybe bait people onto the point, use the crits with that, but that's not going to work. TF2easy very well anticipating it, just making sure that that doesn't happen. Now pushing out of the top ground here with Gazzy on the Pyro as well. Taking down Charlie, who's trying to be cheeky. And yeah, now there you go. It was Fancy that timed out. There you go. Now we know.
Now we know.
And yeah, there you go. They're going to be able to get second back. And still, CSG are going to be on the back foot. They're still sitting on those crits. And obviously they would love to snipe something out with it. Now with Fancy crashing, it's effectively like him dying. He's not going to be able to be forward as well. So now they're just kind of stuck on it. And they're going to have to either give it up, and yeah, they went back to Uber immediately because they just kind of can't do anything with their crits, which is a darn shame.
Yeah, absolutely there. So TF2easy, they are set up on the mid. They're looking to make their way through choke. CSG are on this high ground here, looking to just punish them as soon as they peek their heads above that parapet. Charlie seems to want to be the one to sort of initiate that there, but Nazboy certainly spotted him out pretty early doors.
Yep, he's not gonna be getting anything done, and there is the rest of TF2easy slowly making their way through choke. A high bomb by Charlie lands onto Josh at the very least, and Gassy is still on the pyro as well. I've just noticed. He's just trying to, you know, be a core part of this combo at this point, and just the pressure alone from the pyro is good enough to push people off that high ground, get them onto the low ground. There's the Uber coming out of CSG, actually. They realize they've gotten a lot of frags, so this would be a favorable Uber for them, even if it's so early, as long as they can keep the rest of their players alive and keep these players pincered as well. Now everybody on the point for TF2easy, but they're just kind of surrounded on all sides. There goes Nubby, there goes Gazzy, there goes Otto. Josh makes his way in through mid, just trying to see if he can do something. Gets the kill onto Ams and Choke, but he's gonna have to run away now. And yeah, CSG hang into this, and they keep Connor alive crucially as well, so they're gonna keep trying to push this forward yet again.
I don't think I would fancy high bombing into the medic if he had Gazzy on Pyro stood right next to him. I think Josh may have been the better choice for Charlie there, so definitely a good change of trajectory there. A 50% Uber advantage in the hands of CSG here. They have, of course, got the mid cap as well, and they are going to look to sort of make their way in. Of course, it is still a 1-1. There haven't been any rounds in sort of the past 6 minutes here as well, so we can imagine that we need to see a little bit of movement in this game if we want to see a conclusion. The Uber charge coming pretty quick out of the gates through choke. Again, they're just Ubering in straight away without really knowing what's waiting for them on the other side, and as a result, they only managed to pick up one frag. Of course, the point does go their way, but the full Uber advantage going to TF2easy. CSG have got to try and stalemate in this lobby.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be very brave to push out a last, even in a situation like this, especially when you're a player down as well. You're still setting up your last hold, so you can, you know, maybe get a bit of pressure into lobby, but pushing out is going to be a very brave play, even with that full Uber, because so many things could go wrong. You've got Gazi on the Pyro again. It's worked well for you so far. But see, all CSG needs is a bit of good damage here. Gazi beefing one Reflect was good enough to slow them down a little bit already, but they're finding the frag slowly but surely. They find the flank, completely caught out, and now CSG are going to have to give it up and go back to mid.
Yeah, it looks like Nazboy was just completely trusting his team in that fight there, and as a result, his discipline in watching the shutters managed to get him at 2 frags on his own there, which is obviously going to be enough to push away CSG. We've got tf2easy now just trying to make a little bit of space in mid. Gazi reflecting a lot of damage here as well. Ams has been uber charged by Condog here, and a late uber charge back from tf2easy does mean they're going to be able to clean up just a couple of players there. Charlie and Ams going down, they're trying to do as much damage to water as they can, but he is very well protected there, just cleaning out the stragglers now. tf2easy getting that mid cap in their favor, and they can look to go into second pretty rapid after denying 3 spawners.
This Pyro meta is working astonishingly well for tf2easy right now. Maybe because CSG just struggling to find something to, you know, respond to it with, or maybe tf2easy
it would just be annoying. It would just
taking
annoy
the piss, you know, a little bit as well. Yeah, you know, taking the piss, trying to be a little bit of a nuisance, but it's been working. You know, it's been doing well for them so far. Ubers is still equal, and now you've got a Pyro all the way push out a loss to the enemy loss. This is gonna be like a coast to coast with a Pyro leading the charge the entire time. He's in water now. He's just gonna step on the point. They're gonna Uber so early as well, get so much cap time. The counter comes out immediately as well. The Pyro is still alive though, Crucially. He's gonna be able to just air blast people off if he actually gets onto the point here. Yeehaw is gonna have to get that kill. He does get the kill. And just Nubby stays alive, and he's gonna get surely caught as well. He's trying to make a run for it, but there's 3 players trying to take that guy down. And yeah, there you go.
Yeah, unfortunately, More Alexi was not able to get a flash when the players bombed onto that point. As a result, got picked off, and then you saw the Pyro and the medic got pretty stuck there, so was a near write-off at that point. So tf2easy just looking to be a nuisance on mid, of course, not going to be able to capitalize on anything really. No, More Alexi unable to get any significant sightlines on that sniper class. He's just going to look into the garage area, see whether there's anyone that sort of peeks their head around the corner. And the remaining tf2easy players just trying to domineer this high ground, try and slow Comedy Shorts Gaming down with their 25% Uber.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to work with. It's something you can, you know, try to take forward here. And if they respect More Alexi enough, which you definitely should, because that man on a good day is definitely going to be a pain in the head. As it turns out, they're just going to use that Uber early and try to go as deep as they can. They're chasing very, very deep. They can't even find a kill onto the sniper. Get him down to 4 HP, but that's it. Fancy is just caught up in 3 people in the meantime and manages to feed to them, but they find the kill onto onto More Alexi. They find a kill onto Josh finally as well. They trade out Ams for it as well, though, and Hans just goes into water. Nobody's really seen him there, but he's got really nothing he can do either. There's people watching the point already. He's just gonna have to kind of sit there, hope for his team to, you know, be able to meet him again, and he does find his way out. Nice little jump there to get up the river, but yeah, like tf2easy still staying in this, still in a very good position to try and push out with that Uber ad, and obviously CSG are gonna have to give up some ground for it as well. And yeah, tf2easy taking it. Nubby goes in for the high bump into choke, just pressure out people. They were anticipating that, they were ready for that, but that high bomb could have been devastating if they weren't.
It's such it's such a low risk at that point, because those players were definitely on the fence between being in or out of choke. They just sort of those 2 rockets are enough to push 4 players away as an individual. That's it. That's really, really solid there. So it's pretty good there for tf2easy, managing to secure that second point now off a very minimal Uber advantage, and they didn't even have to use it there. So they're all over this high ground, waiting to see whatever the return may be from CSG.
And CSG have been struggling a little bit with trying to break these holes. They've been struggling to find ways into it, and we're gonna have to see how they do it this time. It's a close hold here on choke, so maybe they're looking to pressure big door a little bit. They see that, yeah, there's a bit of an opening here. We can put our players here. tf2easy are gonna be ready for it as well. They got their heels sitting up on the battlements. They're ready for something that might come in. Hans is going to send himself into Nazboy. That's a decent trade to do to open this up a little bit for your team potentially, but you still got to get through that choke point in the big door. It's still a lot of spam you're eating, and yeah, there you go. Ams gets picked off. Charlie manages to slip into lobby, and doesn't look like anybody's seen. No, never mind. They are aware that it's a sort of slip through. Both scouts are chasing him down, just trying to get this rat out of here, and he's just gonna walk into spawn and die. There you go.
Yeah, 2 players down for CSG now, so tf2easy gonna look to move it pretty swiftly here, but there is a decent return from CSG in this choke area. They got the soldiers spamming pretty deep. They've got the stickies up, of course, and now their spawners coming up in time. Does mean they're going to be able to put up a real solid fight on this mid.
Yeah, it's still an opportunity, certainly. They got 9 minutes. We are equal. 3 minutes left in the round. So a round reset certainly not off the table as the teams stalemate out a little bit, but round reset on second ain't all that common. It's not something you see every day, so yeah, it's going to be on CSG again. They're in the kind of in the do or die time in the driver's seat. They have the ball. They got to make something happen here. They're changing sides. Just do anything. They're gonna actually do anything by going in through choke and seeing if they can force a bit of an exchange here. It's a lot better of an Uber for tf2easy, and Connor might actually get caught here. He does surf the scattergun shots, just barely lives on 18 HP. But it is very much a tight one, and, well, nothing comes of it, because nobody really stayed in. There's no positions to fight. I guess they're just trying to take the dry fight. There goes Hans taken care of, though. And CSG taking a bit of ground, but crucially a lot of high ground for tf2easy. He's going to let him just drop down on people like they do on some Nikki. He gets cleaned up, and CSG are going to have to back off with the rest. Charlie, he did get the flank, but he doesn't find anybody with it, so he's just running away as well.
Absolutely, there Yeehaw going to be spawning pretty imminently here as well for CSG. Charlie creating a bit of a nuisance, but a lovely direct there from Nubby, and Josh coming in with the cleanup as well. Just helps tf2easy eliminate the threat from behind that Charlie was posing there. And again, they put themselves in a real solid position, but let's hope something happens a bit more rapid this time around.
Yeah, I mean, tf2easy tend to be a little bit more rapid, and as they are, yep, they're making their way through big door immediately. So much more content just running in immediately, going for that medic. Connor evading very well for now. He's got his Uber ready. He's going to use it as well. Might have not wanted to there, but it's still so much better for CSG. They're just going to be able to have to actually catch something with it, and it turns out they won't be able to because Charlie's died as well. Meanwhile, on the flank, so it's actually somehow still a better situation for tf2easy, and they're gonna go right back in. They're in through big door. They're taking some ground immediately, trying to spam people off the high ground. Nubby's gonna just go in, clean up that kill onto Hans, easy peasy. Now you've got 3 players because Nikki gets taken care of as well in front of you, and Charlie just now spawning might make his way forward eventually, but
they're so penned in, these players on second. Condog tries to escape on his own, but ultimately all he was doing is he was just moving his spawn further forward by dying nice and rapid. 2 spawners up for CSG, but so many players from tf2easy. Horns can't even get a touch on that point, completely denied with his first bomb, and yeah, just this sort of really compromised position of CSG on that second point. tf2easy penning them in and picking them off one by one, and then of course the inevitable rush into last nets them their second round. It is 2-1 in favor of tf2easy, who of course did win map 1 with this same scoreline. 7 minutes remaining, and we are going into our 4th mid.
Is still something that is winnable for CSG, but they're gonna have to pick up the pace again. They've not been looking great that last round now, and with 6 minutes left, it's certainly gonna be do or die time. And they're already losing the mid. 3 players down. They only find more Alexi. They can't even get a cleanup onto Nubby either. He's just gonna have to run away. At the very least, they kept Connor alive for the time being, so they're gonna keep their Uber, but they're getting chased very, very far away, and they're gonna just. Yeah, and I don't think they can even contest this here. It's actually very brave of them to have Amps contest this. He's very confident, and he does eat so much damage, and still yet he lives for the time being, and he escapes. But what a brave man he is at the end of the day. So much bravery can only get you so far. Hans, a little too brave perhaps, is going to feed in by being overextended as well, and I'll make it a bit rougher for his team to hold last year, but the Ubers are equal, so at the very least you've got that. You know, as a little bit of insurance policy, you're just going to have to be able to kite well. And, well, tf2easy have been on par so far, so it's going to be a high order. As Gazi gets picked off, okay, they're going for the water play. Nubby is probably going to die as well. At the very least, going to get caught by Hans here, so it's working well for them. All right, they're just going to let their scouts run forward and kill everybody and actually force the Uber out of auto there. Just try and keep his demo man alive, and they're going to have to run and hightail it out of there. Yep, they're gone. They're gone.
Absolutely, 2 players down from their side as well. A full Uber advantage in the hands of CSG on this midpoint now. Of course, it's going to be free. tf2easy don't want to compromise any more of their players. They just want to slow the game down, try and build their Uber charge up. They've got Nubby on the side, but he's really deep in this garage area, but only manages to get a little bit of damage onto Horns. No frags over the line. He has been well spotted. Ams gets picked up by a trap as well, and Charlie tries to make a little bit of ground. He has to be saved with the pop of the Uber from CSG. They're 2 players down. There's no ground made up by that Uber charge. Horns super weak in that big door area as well, and the floodgate seemingly open for tf2easy. The only hindrance really is Navi being on the sniper. Will slow them down just a little bit. Horns drops down onto them, manages to pick him up, and now sitting in the back lines against Gazzy.
Oh, well, not much on the backlines at all, because Fancy got caught out as well because of it. Josh realized, okay, well, the soldiers moved past me, I'm just gonna pick up this demo man who's walking around in front of me all helplessly and alone. And that's just gonna put another nail on CSG's here. They're gonna have another wrench thrown into their plans. Josh is now going for the high bomb deep into the combo, gets a little bit of damage there just to pressure them back as well. And TF2s are gonna take that second off the back of it. And even if the Ubers are gonna be equal, it's gonna be on CSG yet again to try and hold this last. And they've been struggling with it occasionally with these last holds. They've been doing some solid ones too, but it's either or. There's no in between. They haven't had a close call. So we'll have to see if TF2easy can make this round to be closed out, and CSG are gonna have a work with that, sending in both soldiers into a river, getting a lot of damage down, but no kills, crucially. Now Han's dead when you're trying to hold last here. Gazzy just barely living there as well from that spam. That's gonna be very, very bad. He's down below now. He's just gonna buy a bit of aggression from Charlie here. Could very well even win that fight if he's so determined. As Josh to back him up. He does lose, but Josh is there to back up and clean up the kill. So, still, keeping it equal. And Fancy walks forward into the shutter and dies.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, they've got no defensive off classes up, and they're just sort of throwing bodies there. Nubby goes in for a sack. Condog's gonna have to use here. There's been a mistake so many times. There's a scout on the cap.
No.
He wins a 1v1 against More Alexi. All 3 of the remaining players from CSG were so congested in that river, they got distracted, and all it took was a nice 2-shot there. And right, that off is now 3-1, 2 rounds ahead, 3 minutes remaining. tf2easy very much in the driving seat. That was a real tragic mistake there after they lost their first 2 players.
After that long round, tf2easy finally looking like they've woken up again, realized, okay, we gotta take it a bit more seriously, and they're activated. CSG are gonna have to pull a miracle out, and as it stands, they've already lost 4 of their players, including their heals. There's no aggression onto Auto either. I mean, there's Ams, but he's gonna be able to chase this. It's gonna be a tough one against the demo and the medic. If he can do it, it's certainly something. He gets the demo, but there's Gazzy now to back him up, and finally that is taken care of. So the mid is still gonna go the way of tf2easy, and that's not good if you're CSG here, because with 2 minutes left and 2 rounds to pick up, you have to go speed.
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what they want to do. Charlie comes absolutely barreling in through the big door. Of course, he had low ammo and lower health, gets picked off pretty switch there. tf2easy just sort of running circles over this midpoint, just trying to pick up any CSG players that are trying to throw their bodies on the line. So desperate to get to Walter. It's not going across the line for them at all at the minute. It's just real DM fest. They've not brought their heals in. They're trying to keep Condog alive, but unable to get any real significant trades other than Gazzy there. They sort of just hand tf2easy that second point. Charlie again go for the exact same strategy. Gets meat shot by More Alexi, lofted into the air, and once more gives them another cap. They're on their last. They need to be pretty desperate here. They need to be able to flop their way out, and this game could be alright. 1 minute 20 left, 2 rounds down. It's gonna be tough.
I think we're nearing the mathematical impossible, especially with both your demo and medic already dying on this last hold as well. You're gonna lose the round. It's very close. The cap time is almost close out. You got 2 scouts trying to protect it, and they're doing an admirable job so far. Make that only one, because Seahawks basically just standing on the point with low health. Ams also has nothing. It's gonna be so tough for him to do anything. Yeah, they just walk on the point. You know, you got that little mosquito jumping around there. He's not gonna bother you. You got the heals. And that's gonna make it 4-1, and that's basically GG. Yeah,
unfortunately, no forfeit plugin anymore, so we're back to the good old days of proper garbage time.
Oh hell yeah! I love Fancy on the sticky jumper already. We are into the proper garbage time. I love to see some funky stuff here, perhaps. Oh, nice little air shot there by Fancy to just deny Josh bombing. Charlie in deep as well, doesn't get the pickaxe kill onto Auto that he so desperately wanted, but yeah. Heavy to mid out of Hans, the sniper to mid out of Nikki. This is what you love to see, because everybody's just kind of doing whatever they want. And somehow, even though they've lost the mid, They are still fighting it for some reason while there's 2 scouts. They're gonna win on score. There's a chance that they actually win on score here with tf2easy. No, okay, they won't have time, but they're cutting it close. My god.
Yeah, absolutely. So ultimately, like the scoreline of the first, of course, being a 2-1 victory to tf2easy. Second map closes out as a 4-1 victory to tf2easy. I must admit, at times that game was certainly a lot tighter than I would have anticipated coming into this. So a real solid show from CSG, but you can just see the sort of differential in class between the two sets of players there. But a real set of glorious moments from both sides. But ultimately, coming out on top is going to be tf2easy.
Yeah, just as you would have potentially expected, but certainly closer than it had a right to be, especially on Sunshine. Like, even though they were in control for a lot of the game on tf2easy, the scoreline of 2-1 is not representative of that, right? It does not represent that at all. And then for most of this game, until like the last 8-ish minutes, CSG were still putting up a great fight as well.
Absolutely.
So, like, even though they lost 6-0 tonight, they are not looking bad. For a mixed team with, like, a lot of talent, maybe some wash players, who knows, a lot of players coming off of breaks, they are still doing very, very well. And even though they can't maybe win against one of the 2 best teams, they put up a decent showing, and that's we got a potential playoffs contender. Anyway, there's logged, right? Do you want to look at those?
Absolutely. Marathon, not a sprint. It's only week one. The other games concluding at the minute, going into the week two matchups. Should be quite an exciting one. So yeah, I guess we'll have a look at these logs. And again, it just goes without saying, the scouts from tf2easy, both in the top four. Not quite as significant as the first map, but I think the absolutely glaring one has got to be Nubby on the roaming soldier, going 21-12 on soldier alone, and then of course a few individual sniper plays as well. That's pretty impressive. You can just see how punishing it was to be Condog on some of those mids. You just look up,
Yeah.
see Josh and Nubby both lining up about 4 rockets to land upon your very head.
It was like there were some mids where Nubby alone just like manages to slip through surgically, like a guided missile directly in front of Connor. Just takes him down. Problem solved. The mid is sealed. Fancy gets caught out as well, and that was like 3 of the 4 mids that they won or something. It was actually
Yeah,
they won every mid. Yeah, like
yeah,
they I guess they didn't really win the second one. It was the weird one, right? Anyway, yeah, that's how it usually tended to go, and it shows. I mean, in terms of medics as well, actually more Ubers this time for Connor, but that's mostly because they kind of just like threw them out there more. Like Otto, there were many situations where he didn't even have to use. Like CSG just popped their Uber, trying to make some ground, get an exchange going or something like that, and tf2easy were nowhere to be found. They were so far back, and still like just the 2 or 3 players that were forward that actually managed to make them force they managed to do so much damn damage just among the 2 of them that was all they needed. It's just crazy. They were always so far back, kiting those Ubers so well. So even though Otto used way less, he didn't have to. He had no use to, no need.
Yeah, that was certainly quite consistent across the board. You could see these CSG players, as soon as they had an Uber advantage, they would just rush into whatever point they wanted to push next, and then it would never go their way. And then tf2easy, naturally being on the front foot the entire time, they would just build up their own Uber charge, and then just approach it as they would any other hold on any other point. But yeah, a pretty exciting game by rights.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to see. This season's gonna be so damn exciting, dude. I love the competition we're having this season. I'm looking forward to seeing more of both of these teams. tf2easy looking on form as per usual, and CSG coming out swinging, even though they lose, showing a great showing. Honestly, like they're gonna be a team to beat for a lot of the other teams in Prem. When it comes to the implications later down the season, when it comes to placements and stuff like that, this is gonna be an exciting season. I love it.
Absolutely. So on that note, then, it is now the conclusion of week one. This has been the season 43 Prem week one games. It has been CSG versus tf2easy. tf2easy go into week two against Forfent, I believe lost their first game, and CSG come against the Titans of Witness Gaming, who of course did
Ooh.
win last season. this game, though. tf2easy, of course, winning a 2-1, 4-1 victory across those two maps. I'd like to thank Core, one of the many, many unsung heroes of production. He's a real G. And, of course, my friend here, Surny. And I hope you all have a fantastic night.
See ya.